Hello and welcome back to the Prospectors Saloon. Today we're going to be talking about Fallout with Mel, Mammoth, and me. Alright Mel, you know how you go.
Okay, we're not gonna. Are we gonna include the first part too, or just this part? Right.
Are we gonna be confused? Because I'm always. That's my secret.
I mean, why
confused.
don't we include both of these, and we'll do a third one afterwards, and then we'll just have it keep going in a row, and people will just be very confused.
Oh,
Just for the record, for those at home, this is the 6th time we tried an opening, because the first 5 were deemed too racist.
Yeah, unfortunately. Mammoth has a bad mouth.
In my defense, I did nothing during the war. I was stationed at the Swiss border.
I'm from a different time.
How old are you again? Oh dear.
Alright, anyway, today we're going to be talking about a hypothetical Fallout fucking New Vegas sequel.
Is this because Fallout New Vegas 2 is being teased by everyone and their mother?
No.
Yes.
Are we going to acknowledge the fact that people are looking forward to New Vegas 2?
I'm not. I just want it to be a new Fallout. Stop being optimistic.
Look, son. To quote a very sketchy Englishman, always look on the bright side of life.
That doesn't help me, that helps him. I was expecting backup, you asshole.
I mean, look, I gotta agree. Actually, I'm not too optimistic about a New Vegas 2, because the thing that makes Fallout so good is the collaboration, but also like the vision from like the project heads. They have an idea about how to create like a whole a whole universe, a whole lore to go along with it. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do, if you don't have someone behind the project that really loves like the original lore, that can adapt it properly, that has an idea of what this new location should look like, you're left with something that's kind of hollow. I'll say it, like Fallout 4 kind of feels like a series of disconnected quests that they've then, smashed together afterwards. It's very different than Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas.
No, I'll agree with you on that one. Actually, if they're gonna make a sequel, I think it would be Obsidian. I would just want it to be a new location, preferably, but like, maybe like borrows a couple things. I don't know. I just don't want it to be like literally like right at New Vegas, because then if you do that, you're probably gonna do a time skip. You do a time skip, it's gonna say who won the battle. I think it's a lot better to like leave that shit open-ended.
Do you? I mean, Fallout 4, one of the things I did enjoy about Fallout 4 was the fact that we got to see that the Brotherhood won in Fallout 3. The Enclave lost.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, but that was always going to be what happened.
Yeah.
The whole DLC, Broken Steel, is you going on an adventure to clear out the Enclave. There's not an Enclave alternative for Broken Steel.
Yeah, there is. You destroy the Citadel.
Well, yeah, but think about it like this. No, you can.
I don't know. I didn't play Fallout 3 that much.
You can blow up the Citadel. The only issue is this. So, you're literally paired up the Brotherhood. At this point, you've went on missions with them. You've done all this shit. And, like, besides doing something cool like Megaton, in all fairness, there's not really much, like, incentive to actually blow up the Citadel. Like, I mean, why the fuck would you? You're like, alright, well, we just took down the Enclave. Good shit, boys. Also, there goes your fucking clubhouse. Like, why the fuck would you do that?
I mean, you could also infect everything with the FEV, which is also pretty much just like a game over.
Well, no, you can, but, like, my whole point between, like, the Citadel and, like, the FEV thing is, like, they're not really the... Okay, so, look, New Vegas' endings are really open-ended, right? In the sense of, you don't really know which one the character will pick, and that's because some of them have their own merits that are good and bad. I mean, it's a lot more black and white with, do I poison a water supply, or do I not? There's not really an open-ended one there.
Honestly,
obviously, it's gonna be the... no, like, they're not gonna continue a game like that. It's the same thing they did for Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. The Vault Dweller did this and jerked off Shady Sands.
I feel like I feel like New Vegas kind of like pushes the narrative that the independent New Vegas with like minimal interaction from the courier is the ending.
Yeah, I misunderstood you. I thought you were talking about the FEV for a second.
Oh,
I zoned out, so I'm just going to say that Mr. House is probably the world's first VTuber.
You
Yeah.
know what? I am actually down for this. Mel, quick question. What is the best ending in your opinion?
the best ending is independent, where you help all of the minor factions get the most amount of independence.
Look, son, the house always wins. Ring-a-ding-ding.
So the house is your pick. Mel, what's yours? Out of curiosity.
It's independent New Vegas. I think independent New Vegas is the best ending.
Alright, and mine is NCR, so let's all start hating on each other.
All right. First of all, let's all agree that Legion ending is for people who think they would not be slaves in Legion, but they would be.
Well, I mean, all honesty, we will talk. I'll save the Legion ending for the last, but there are a couple things I would love to bring up about the Legion ending. So, Mel, real quick, we're going on a little rotation here. I'm gonna start off with my point. I honestly think the NCR is the best. Well, when we talk about these, we're all giving each other like the benefit of the doubt, like, you know, the best possible ending you could get with House, Independent, NCR. So that's the way I'm talking about this. But I think NCR is the best, mainly because now you have like the roads completely patrolled by the Brotherhood of Steel and the NCR. So there's protection for that, and obviously, like, you know, the Fiends pretty much, like, you know, wiped out and shit. 1 second, I'm drinking some water.
Oh God, he's drinking water. Take him down.
What is he, a super battle droid?
What a fucking monster.
Dun, 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 dun.
No.
Why'd you say battle droid?
You said take him down, and
You meant like that. Take him down. Yeah.
He can't do that. Shoot him or something.
That's illegal. It's not illegal.
I will make it illegal.
But what I did was legal. Make it illegal.
The courier after the bring it. There you go. That's my master plan. Go. That's my plan. Go the NCR ending.
You can't just charge us water. That's illegal. I will make it illegal.
You don't understand. My plan is. Listen, all right. My plan is simple. I convince Mr. House to pretend he's dead. I win the battle for the NCR. I run for president of the NCR. I win the election. I stage a false flag attack on the NCR. I declare the emergency powers, and I do whatever Mr. House says.
Wow. Animate all of that. Real quick.
I love the Republic. I love democracy.
Alright. Here we go. Moving back onto my points. So you have protection, right? Fiend's not really much of an issue, but that's kind of all the endings. On top of this, now the trade routes, you know, you got, like, you know, more firepower to clear those out. I mean, mainly mentioning that, but you also get, like, healthcare and shit with the NCR if you become a citizen. And on top of that, the followers are still there. Yeah? Shit,
well,
is there anything else?
Because the NCR keeps pushing out the followers.
No, you can actually keep them in, though. Like, if you have them help you at the end of Hoover Dam, they'll actually stay there.
I know, but I mean in the rest of the NCR, everyone's kind of treating them like a bunch of terrorists.
Well, yeah, but this place is different. This is my imagination land where I win.
Hey, it's your imagination land. I mean, yeah, with that logic, I can run for president as the courier, and then I can put Mr. House in charge of the secret government.
We're talking
Where's my
about
shadow
right
government?
now.
Get the enclave.
Give me the give me the benefit of the doubt. Goddamn.
I will give you the benefit of this boot up here.
Alright, fine. Well, beyond that, like, teaming up, you have the boomers, a lot of trade. If things stay as they are in that context, I think it'd be great. Mel, what is your reasoning for independent without getting too out of hand?
Alright, without getting too out of hand,
Only
so
because I
essentially...
don't want the courier to have like a fucking satellite space station that he can make in the MT.
No, see, like, okay, so the first thing about the independent New Vegas ending is I'm not saying, like, by the way, the courier would be the best leader. I'm saying, like, the courier gets independence from New Vegas and then he hops, you know, he goes to explore Baja or something. Like, he doesn't have to
be
be
rancher.
Yeah,
he doesn't even have to be there.
Actually,
The
fun
thing
fact,
about
goes to the
independent New
MT.
Vegas, is you get all the security of the other two endings within the Mojave. You know, Brotherhood patrols their sections. Boomers keep their area safer. They open up for a little bit of trade. You know, New Vegas takes care of itself. Freeside takes care of itself. Stops fighting with the NCR squatters. Like, if you do independent, you can get all the different factions to basically, you know, man up and shake each other's hands instead of attacking each other.
Okay.
And the bonus is you don't have the negatives of if the Legion wins, you know, everyone who disagrees is a slave. You don't have the negatives where if the NCR wins, you know, half of their money gets taxed, and you know there's also the issues with all the bureaucracy and the corruption, like, you know, Cass suffering under the Crimson Caravan because they like they worked with the Vangrass to like assassinate her entire trade company. You know, you don't have issues like the NCR sharecroppers who are going to die because they don't have a job anymore. Everything gets handled because they have their independence to take care of themselves, which is, you know, what the Mojave Wasteland's all about. And lastly, you don't have the problem with Mr. House being in charge where, you know, everything's teetering on a knife's edge. You don't just have, you know, some, you know, methed out courier or you know, casino manager decide to go and assassinate him and become a dictator that you can't trust. In fact, you don't even know if you could really trust Mr. House. I mean, he doesn't have an ending where he lets any of the Brotherhood survive. And
to be fair, they do some. I don't know about that one.
I'll defend House in my end thing. Don't worry.
Of course.
Right,
I'm just saying, like, if you do independent, like, there's no one person in charge. Everyone learns to shake each other's hands. No one's getting killed to slavery or corruption. It's a balance of a bunch of people with different interests deciding that they need to work together.
All right, well, you actually brought some good points, but now we're going to go down to the Mr. I Kill Everything, Mr. House.
He doesn't kill everything.
The Kings would like a word with you.
Oof.
No, you can make it so that the Kings stick around, but let me get down to this. Now, let's start with the NCR. Now, the NCR may seem like the best choice. Freedom and democracy and stability is what they promise, correct?
No.
What do they promise then? What do they promise then, Kringe?
Everything you just said.
That's what I thought. But let's get down to the truth of the matter. It is a presidency. It is a nation corrupt to the core, with land barons doing whatever they want. Corruption's the highest echelons of power. Freaking incompetence at every stage, and the narcissism of it. Do you know that the president doesn't have a term limit? They keep running. Tandy ran until she was, 100?
And she did a great job.
And then now Kimball's in charge, and you know what he did?
He's trying his best.
He gave the land barons more power. He promoted his best friend Oliver over the much more qualified Colonel Q.
You never met him.
And that's not even talking about the fact that the state, they're very obviously will bully anyone to submission. You always got to look at the factions of what they would do if the courier wasn't around. And all the NCR choices for everything includes lying, deception, and assassination.
You can change that.
Independent. Yes, but we got to look at this objectively. Now let's look at the independent Vegas. Oh yes, independence is always a nice idea. But who's going to be protecting this independent Vegas? You said the Brotherhood's going to protect part of it, right? The same Brotherhood who like to just steal people's property with no absolute concern or even thought about why they need such technology. No, it's too advanced for them. They can't have it. Who would do anything to secure their position, killing anyone that disagrees with them? We know what happens if Veronica tries to leave. We know what Hardin wants to use them for. Now imagine if they get access to Helios and they have the power of a death ray. And sure, you say the Securitrons can protect everyone else, but who's going to be maintaining those Securitrons while you're off diddling yourself in Big Mountain in front of Dala, just entertain her? Who's going to be taking care of those Securitrons? Robots require maintenance. Is it Raul? Is Raul gonna be doing all that? You putting that poor old man to work?
I mean,
fixing Securitrons day and night.
He's gonna be upstairs reading comics.
the audience might not know about it, but you were talking up a storm last week about how Raul the cool cowboy could do pretty much everything in the wasteland.
Yeah, he can.
Now, I don't know what slander you're talking about. I'm just saying, he's a poor, sad ghoul that you want to force into slavery to keep your Securitron army running while you're off
He
gallivanting
gets a fucking
in the
penthouse.
terrorist crater. But Mr. House, he's not bound by such things as a quest for power or a quest for money. He just wants to protect New Vegas, and once he has it, he has plans. Within 200 years, he will be going to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by radiation. Space! He will take us in 200 years on his big colony ships to explore the stars, settling new worlds, to boldly go where no man's gone before. And you'll be there, for he promises you the one thing the others can't truly promise. Except for the big thing, that's different. Longevity. To make a better version of what gave him his long life to you. Imagine it, 200 years, still being the crazy cowboy you were when you saved the Mojave, but now in space with lasers and jumping around on the moon and fighting commies on the moon and aliens. Oh, that will be so much fun.
I just have to say, I think there was an entire DLC about what happens if there's a loon.
Yeah, but he's not lobotomized. He doesn't care about experimenting on people. He just believes
I don't think the think tank is lobotomized. They were the greatest scientific minds of their day. They
were unrestricted for the pursuit of science. They don't. Mr. House isn't about the unrestricted pursuit of science.
What's so different? They wanted the same thing with a different name.
No. Mr. House wants to protect humanity and advance it, not make cazadors.
Yeah, he's not the kind of like splicing. He's the kind of, hey, get back to work and build my fucking rocket kind of guy.
And even then, most likely now all get super robots. But he wants humanity to be around. He doesn't want to get rid of humanity. The think tank was, science is not about why, it's about why not. But Mr. House is all about using that technology to save humanity.
But see, here's the thing. He doesn't like talk about his flaws.
Why would he?
Well, yeah, because he's an egocentral maniac. But the other choices are also egocentral maniacs. Gimbal's an egocentral maniac. Kaiser's an egocentral maniac. The Courier's an egocentral maniac.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
The entire world literally depends on his choices. I don't want to be responsible. I just want to snort cocaine off of a hooker's back.
How do you know the Courier is not the reincarnation of George Washington, and he just wants to go out?
Because George Washington never survived getting a bullet in the head by Chandler from France.
So that just means he's like a double George Washington. He's even better. He's not even going to go to a farm. He's going to go
How dare you insult the father of our nation?
What are you guys talking about?
What's happening?
I'm talking about the salvation of our nation from the total devastation from beyond creation. I'm talking about... Great rhyming right there, boy.
You rhymed it. Anyway, okay. Very quick. Anyway, just a little bit back. Okay.
I lost my point.
You made your point times like 10.
Anyway, vote for me for president this election.
We'll let the comment section decide, even though we won't believe it. Anyway, moving on.
We can rank it too. I say that number one is independent, obviously, but we could rank the other.
We're not ranking. We all think ours is number one, like the Robbie Ryan.
Of course.
I'll die on this hill right after I killed you.
As soon as I push MF off that number one, I have a question for you first, Mel. And here's the question: you said that you're gonna leave the Securitrons there, and you're gonna leave everyone to their own devices. So, I'm already of the opinion that it's like in the Brotherhood ending, they just set up checkpoints to steal people's shit. I mean,
basically.
If like a raider comes, I mean, yeah, they'll shoot him, but like, it's not. No one else is gonna be in that area anyway. So like, who the fuck does it help?
They steal the energy weapons, yeah. But like that's the same thing as like paying taxes to the NCR.
Well, that's a bit different. I'd rather pay like $10 and have the guy take my only means of defending myself.
Well, $10 is an underestimation. Like the amount of taxes that get levied on like the different groups is a lot. Like if you do the Prim ending where you get under NCR protection, they say that the taxes are so heavy that everyone in Prim is just like forever like on the cusp of like lower class citizenship.
Yeah, but we're talking about caravans. See, you're talking about caravans. I'm talking about quite literally anybody. Like they're not gonna toll a random guy that just happens to walk past.
NCR, no, they will. Like you're not going to be able to live in NCR territory without paying your dues to the NCR. And if you don't pay those dues, if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of illusions that dissidents in the NCR are often met with either huge like prison sentences or just straight up like death sentences.
Well, I don't think that I would need to actually see if the toll roads actually apply. But even, I mean, at least to like just random people, like a fucking drugged out, whatever. But then like my whole point behind that is like, I don't know, man. I would legitimately rather give up any amount of money than like my only means of defending myself. Or like, all right, let's keep on going that way.
They just take it, which are very
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They're still willing to like, what I'm trying to say is,
if I may,
go ahead.
If I may,
Go ahead.
advocate here. Now I understand the idea of wanting freedom for yourself, but here's the thing. If New Vegas lies independent, if everyone's left to their own devices, no one is going to improve the state, at least if it's under the NCR control. Then that means, within time, all the splendid wonders of the civilized world will be brought forth to the Mojave. And if everyone is independent, then what? No one from the boomers is going to share their VR technology with Good Springs. No one's going to start working on fixing the sewer system so that everyone has plumbing. No one's going from...
That's exactly what would happen. See, like,
wait, well, if independent, I thought you said you were gonna leave, though. If you're gonna leave, then who's gonna build those things, and who's gonna charge taxes for them?
You have to think of it. You have to think of it kind of like with historical consideration. Like, let's say you are the Boomers or the Brotherhood or whatever, and something's going wrong within the Brotherhood bunker, and it's going to not self-destruct, but it's going to essentially become uninhabitable without like HEPA filter cartridges or something. But like, it's another problem. They're going to have to, with like the good faith foundation that you set up with the good independence ending, because you could do a bad NCR ending and a bad house ending. We're talking a good independence ending.
Yeah.
Then the Brotherhood is very likely to go and reach out to Freeside or the Boomers or the Great Khans and say, hey, we need help. Novak, we need help. We're willing to give you XYZ if you help us with this problem. We're very good at defending these trade routes. We will allow people from Novak or traders going to Novak to retain their energy weapons because we're going to have this special relationship with you because you've helped us in the past. And
I don't know. I don't see anyone from the Brotherhood asking for help besides Veronica.
I'd like to add one thing real quick. It's all the way you explained it. There's nothing wrong with that, Mel. But here's how I actually think it's going. Oh, our ventilation's fucked up. Hey, we need a filter. Hey, don't those boomer guys have one? You're right, Tim. Hey, Tom, you thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, man. Well, killing these guys is a great idea. Woo! Got an HP filter.
But here's the question. Why do you think that the NCR would be the kind of people to not attack others, but that in an independent New Vegas, everyone would attack each other?
No. The NCR is all about imperialistic conquest. They will invade everyone. But then you're under the NCR boot. The Brotherhood would attack you, take what they want, and then just leave repeatedly. Well, they wouldn't conquer you and bring you into their own. No, you're savages. You're the barbarians at the gate.
Yeah. See, the idea behind the independence ending, and I think that there is evidence for it within the game, is that the balance of power and the good faith that everyone has between each other ensures that they're going to work cooperatively because they want to survive, and they know that if they don't work cooperatively, then they'll lag behind everyone else who is working together.
I think that could maybe work. I think it's a little presumptuous to think that like the majority of the factions would think like that. The main issue with the Brotherhood is like even in the NCR ending, which I want to, like, mind you, the NCR ending is the best one for them, only because the Brotherhood actually come out and actually, I don't know why I just didn't make this point, they actually come out and will actually secure the trade routes with, like, out robbing anybody. No stealing whatsoever.
Sure.
And they'll
Well,
secure them.
I'm not arguing for a Brotherhood ending. I'm arguing for an independent.
No, I'm
Exactly.
agreeing with you. I'm just saying that in my ending, the Brotherhood are objectively, this ending is the best ending for them, just because of the fact that they're not a liability. They can probably even trade a little bit, not a little bit, very little bit, but they will be actually protecting trade routes and shit. And if you give them the iBots, then boom, boom, bada, bang. So you don't have to worry about defense, definitely with the NCR and the NCR. Fuck, NCR, I say that twice. The Brotherhood and the NCR combined.
Well, the Brotherhood and I think maybe the Boomers are the only factions in the NCR ending besides the NCR that
No.
actually end up better off.
The
Goodsprings
followers.
gets screwed, Prim gets screwed, Novak gets screwed, Freeside gets screwed.
Wait. Where does it say that they all get screwed, though? In their endings, it depends on what you do. It doesn't say that they get taken over.
Actually, no. Goodsprings literally dissolves because there's no reason to go there.
It doesn't.
Old people leave.
Goodsprings doesn't dissolve. People have to pay taxes, so the old timers leave, but most of the people stay there. So Easy Pete and
Mitchell, I think.
Doc Mitchell, they probably leave, but everyone else stays there. They
Yeah.
still
But like
So it's still a
it
city.
essentially like stops growing. It stops growing and it starts declining.
Why?
No,
It does it?
Prim declines under the NCR leadership.
Where does it say that? Hey, I need a
You can,
fact sheet for
you can go to
this.
the Prim ending if you do an NCR ending with also having NCR hegemony over Prim. It says that basically they all get hyper taxed and then they just kind of, don't really prosper.
Are you reading that
Nobody-
like straight off the wiki?
No. I mean, you can go look at it. I just remember it because Prim actually has a lot of endings, which is kind of weird because there's only like one quest there.
1 second, let me summon my Wikipedia article. Mammoth. Would you mind looking that up real quick?
Alrighty then, boys. Let me see your
So-
NCR
Yeah,
Vegas.
if you consider the great cons, I think that they basically, unless you're like a militaristic state yourself, in the NCR ending, they basically just, NCR boot on your neck.
I mean,
No,
we'll talk
if
about
you
the
go
great cons in a
NCR,
second.
if you ask them to leave, then they form an empire in Wyoming. If they
Well, that's
work with the
different.
NCR,
You could
they
do
get
that-
pushed to a
you could do that regardless
reservation.
of the ending. You could do that great cons ending regardless.
Yeah,
So,
but we'll
Alright, but yeah,
discuss
the-
that one a bit. 1 second, let's go back to Prim. What does it say?
Alright, so for Prim, let's see here. Kill the people of Prim, no. Complete my... Here we go. No, that's for if you do... I'm looking for the NCR...
there should be 3 endings for NCR.
Here we go.
There's one-
Yeah. After Hoover Dam, NCR helps rebuild Prim as a major stopping point of the Long 15. Through Prim's citizenship under Prim's citizens chief under NCR's taxes, they benefit greatly from the increased protection and merchant traffic.
That sounds
The
great.
other NCR, okay, so that's if you have the NCR secure the city and then you do the NCR ending. Now for if you do Prim Slim, that's the same no matter what. And it's the same if you get Sheriff Myers.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
if
the
you do
same
the
if you get Myers?
Well, yeah, they say
Yes, you get
independent.
Myers.
Like when you ask to
Yeah,
go.
but
up-
Myers
yeah,
always has the
yeah.
same ending unless you do the Legion ending. Same thing with Prim Slim.
Well, yeah, because like if
okay.
you go up to like ask him to like get his like thing up, like his warrant, they're like, why would they why would we let a powder ganger in here? And then you bring up the point, well, hey, you could use someone who owes you a favor, and he's like, oh yeah, we could definitely use someone who owes us a favor, like in charge of that town. That'd be sick. And then I just kind of leave him alone to fuck all. As for Goodsprings, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it decreases. Like it says, it just says that the old timers leave. You would still have trade through Goodsprings. I know the best ending for Goodsprings is easily the independent. I won't argue that one. I'm just saying it's not terrible in the NCR.
Of course, I'm not saying that NCR is like this awful thing. It's definitely worse under Legion. I mean, in fact, unless you do run Goodsprings wrong, Goodsprings ending is never really like too awful.
Terrible.
Yeah. Real quick, I would like to bring out that if you go the Legion ending, but you get Prim Slim, he continues. It doesn't say he dies. It just says that he continues to oppose the Kaisar's will. So now I'm just imagining just no one being getting near Prim because of Prim Slim.
Yeah, he holds back the fort. We should just send him to Hoover Dam.
He really is holding the barbarians at the gate.
Dirty bastards. Alright, now real quick, the cons, because I don't think anything happens to Novak either. As far as I'm concerned, they also have their independence. As far as I'm concerned, you can look that up.
Well, you could have the powder gangers from Vault 19 join up with the cons, but that's not really important.
Well, yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're going right on to the cons.
Alright.
But is everyone good on that? Novak's fine. I'm pretty sure it says independent. We can look it up if you guys want to.
Yeah, I don't think Novak really interacts with anybody
It
except for like
doesn't,
the Legion.
So far we have an F for Good Springs. For Novak, nothing. Really good circumstances for Prim. But
look at the independent Prim. I'm pretty sure independent Prim is better.
well, we'll check that out. Okay, go look up independent Prim when we're at it real quick. So
Alright, freaking having me jump around.
Sorry, brother.
Jump around. Alright. Kill people. Well, all the independent. So, like I said, all the independent. So, Myers and Prim Slim are exactly the same. So, you want me to look up the NCR ending, but they leave.
No, because I'm pretty sure that one's bad.
Well, of course it's bad, but the rest are exactly the same. They're only different if the Legion take over. Myers is the same if
Well,
you
the
go
Myers ending is
NCR.
pretty good, if I'm not mistaken. I always do the Myers.
Well, you can do
ending.
that with NCR as well. We're just saying,
Yeah,
like,
Myers.
yeah.
No, the Myers ending is the same for Independent House and NCR. Same thing with Prim Slim. The only difference is with the Legion, both of which the Legion. Well, if you go Myers, Legion kill everyone in town, including Myers. If you go Prim Slim and Legion, the ending for it is exactly not understanding the gravity of the Legion's intimate to take over Prim. Sheriff Prim Slim valiantly attempts to resist Kaisar's will.
yeah.
So
I
unlike
guess
Myers, who confirms dies and gets everyone in town killed, Prim Slim
beats the shit out of them.
opposes Kaisar will.
Well, like,
But yeah, they're all the
yeah.
same.
Well, yeah, if they're all the same, then even if you want to say, since we're going the NCR route, to give it the NCR anyway, I don't know, with that much increased traffic, I mean, even with taxes.
It does say they struggle about the taxes, but they say they more than benefit from the trade and the protection.
Well,
Yeah.
you also have to consider it this way: like when they're writing out these endings, they're not going to say, "Oh, they benefited greatly, but not as much as if it were independent." Like they're
I
not.
Oh, no,
don't
that's
know,
what we're
yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
You just
they're
gotta
not
take
gonna
it. For
write these
example, let's look at
stipulations.
real quick. Let's look at the Myers ending, which just has them just shooting people if there's even if there's little evidence that they did anything wrong. Which is why I always go Prim Slim, because Prim Slim's problem is maybe he's a little too slow, that he's not just murdering people on the street.
Like I said, I personally I think that the tax ending is like worse than like a Myers ending.
So it looks like we're at a standstill again. I'm NCR, you're Myers, and my boy Mammoth down here, I'm assuming is Prim Slim.
I'm always Prim Slim, ring a ding ding.
Alright, well, definitely no one's going to agree on that, so let's just move on to the
Alright,
cons.
the cons.
Brotherhood
Alright.
Yeah.
could agree. Actually, can you read the independent Brotherhood ending where you work with McNamara? I think it's pretty good too.
There's a mod, actually, because here's the thing. So no matter what, the Brotherhood ending is going to be the same independence-wise, but there's actually a mod. I'll link it down below, but like what it does is it actually does what you're talking about. And you have to meet a bunch of criteria, and then like the McNamara ending will be different.
Is that the case? I believe you. I'm just.
It's not, yeah, unfortunately. I had the mod downloaded though. I'll link it, but real quick, the cons. I'm just gonna be straight with you. I honestly think it's a terrible idea to send them to Wyoming or wherever the fuck they went, because when it says and they built an empire, I mean they're not really good guys. I mean, what kind of empire do you think that they made? I don't want to send those bastards somewhere else. They're just gonna fucking raid and kill somewhere else where no one's gonna stop them. And it's proven no one's going to, because it literally says empire. I mean, maybe they turned a new leaf. And you could assume, okay, well, they're like good people now, but the followers helped them make it. But they also showed them how to make drugs. And they're like, oh, thanks, I'm gonna get high off this. And they're like, oh, shit. So then maybe they put, like, you know, like a whoopsie twice. Who knows?
Sorry, I zoned out reading the independent endings for Veronica and the Brotherhood. I'm noticing that the Brotherhood. Sorry, I just noticed that the Brotherhood endings are really kind of like bland.
I wouldn't say
All-
Yeah.
all it relates to Veronica. It's all about which one hurts her the most, to be 100% honest.
It's really weird. It feels like they had more plans for Brotherhood endings and they kind of stopped because like the conditions to activate these endings are very specific.
Yeah.
All right. We were supposed to look at the cons, right?
Yeah.
NCR compared to independent.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
so no matter what, you can do. The cons go to Wyoming, blah blah blah. So we ignore that because everyone can do that.
Yeah.
All right. So if you kill, so both some of the NCR ones is just killing them both. Khan and Regis. So after generations of being beaten down, the Great Khans were finally broken by the courier. Those few who avoided the courier's wrath moved north into the wilderness of Idaho, where they tried once more to rebuild. So that's if you kill Papa Khan and Regis. All right, here we go. Convince Papa Khan to break his alliance with Kaisar's Legion. Replace Papa Khan with Regis for the Republic Part 2, and complete the in-game quest Eureka for the NCR. So Regis is in charge, and okay. After the second battle of Hoover Dam, the Great Khans returned for a time to Red Rock Canyon. The NCR's pressing need to expand proved greater than its promise of amnesty, and before long, the government decided the Khans had to go. The surviving Great Khans were relocated to an isolated, barren reservation well north of NCR trade routes.
Pretty shit.
All right. So yeah, they get pushed to a reservation far away, which we had that whole talk about. Oh wait, is that in the lost episode? Where
Yeah, for you and me went on like a fucking 50-minute speech.
my masters of.
There's basically no independent Great Khans ending. The only thing for the independent Great Khans is kind of you send them out. Yeah, is you send them into Wyoming.
Or
That's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
but you can do that for everyone, which is what I always did for the NCR anyway. So.
Yeah. I mean,
Don't
given
look
that,
at
So we're
it's
still,
kind of inapplicable.
well, we're still here. So what I remember the train of thought that we were going on. It went from how helpful is the BOS, which do you agree that they would be more beneficial to the community if they were in the NCR or no?
Let me read their NCR ending again.
Go.
Because...
The only benefit is from them being wiped out.
I agree with you, but we're gonna go along the lines that they're alive.
We
somehow.
must purify the ways.
Imagine just hearing that screaming outside your bunker. It's like I think they're somehow getting the door loose. You just hear like an XP game.
Well, okay. It says that they just patrol the Highway 95 and the I-15 in the NCR ending, but presumably that's what they're doing in the independent ending, minus the truce with the NCR.
Well, it's also minus the fact that they're robbing people in the independent.
Well, actually,
they're
if
not
you
robbing
wanna-
people in the NCR.
The Brotherhood robs the NCR of their power armor.
Well, yeah, but that's the trade-off. They'll protect the roots if they get all their technology back. So, like, now that they have that, that's the deal. They're guarding the trade route, so it's increased. What?
Why would they stop harassing people? Like, if they got the salvaged power armor,
because it's an agreement. They're in a truce at the moment. That's the truce's deal. They get the armor.
It doesn't say that. Where does it say that? It says an official truce so that they won't fight each other. It doesn't say that they won't.
Yes, but the armor was given to them. The armor was given. Okay, look. When you talk to McNamara, right, and you discuss a truce, that's where it gets brought up. Like, one will help you fight in Hoover Dam, right? Yeah.
They do say that.
They will help you fight in Hoover Dam. You give us our fucking armor back. But in the ending slide, it also mentions that they just patrol. And the independent one, it goes out of its way to say that they rob people.
I don't think that they necessarily decide to stop out of the blue. I think that's a little bit too.
Real quick, I think the page I'm looking at, which is from the Fallout Wiki. Well, more specifically, NCR endings for the Fallout Wiki. I think it's missing a few endings. Because I'm looking at the NCR, the Misfits, and it shows all the endings for them, except for the one where you just complete their quest and go the NCR path.
Really?
Yeah, it shows the one kill all the Misfits, Legion ending, All or Nothing or Mr. House, Legion ending. There's none for the NCR ending.
Well, I think we could just assume that it would be the same as the independent then, because you still help them out.
I know, no, it's a bit different, because they distinguish themselves and they're all given rewards.
Well, no, it says except for Legion ending. That's the one that comes up.
Well, wait. Oh, okay, well, real quick. So, obviously...
Oh, wait, you're right, I'm just...
Oh, no, you're good, man.
You're right, I'm just blind.
I think we're on different things right now. So Mammoth, you're gonna be the well, no, you can't be the tiebreaker because your opinion is just to fucking kill them.
No, I am able to change my narrative. I'm able to change.
No, I agree with you. They should die. I'm just saying which one benefits
I know,
like
but
Mojave the best.
when it comes to which path is best for the Brotherhood themselves,
Yeah. Which one's the best for themselves? That's what we're talking
well,
about.
it really depends on what you think is better for them in the long term. If they go with the NCR ending, then they get all of the scavenge power armor the NCR took, and they start to become these big boss boys again.
Well, I missed
probably contact the rest of the western half.
I meant like which one's better for like the Mojave. I apologize.
For the Mojave?
Yeah, like for the Mojave. That's like we.
Oh, that would be the NCR ending because the Brotherhood just sort of take up control of the areas they want, and that's mostly just from Bunker to Helios. They don't do anything for others. They do it for themselves. They patrol the area because it needs to be safe for themselves. If people benefit, then yeah, that's fine. At least with the NCR ending, they're helping people because it's sort of a deal they made for the NCR, so they have to help people.
Oh wait, I just noticed something.
Huh.
There is no, if you do an independent New Vegas, but you activate the Securitron army, there is actually no Brotherhood ending.
Really?
Yeah.
I did it. Once more onto the breach.
Yeah, we can't answer this because like I said, it seems like they don't have enough. They literally don't have an ending for the Brotherhood.
Well,
if you go independent and you activate the Securitron.
If you want to, which I don't, but if you want to, well, this feels like it's cheating, to be 100% honest, because I still feel like inevitably they would want to like attack your army anyway at some point.
If they could make a deal with the NCR, they could see that the Securitron army keeps New Vegas safe, and then decide to patrol without harassing.
Or Yes Man looked at Mr. House's calculations, and while you were off, petting your cyber dog at a big mountain, he slaughtered them all. Not just the women, not just the men.
Not just the brother men, but the brother women and brother children too.
Exactly. All I'm saying is, Yes Man is a cold-blooded killer.
No, he's not. Yes Man literally can't function without...
He recommended.
Son, I've stared into the abyss. I have seen evils beyond your comprehension, but nothing is as twisted or as dark as what lies behind those cold, dead eyes.
Now, Mel, I have one last argument, and this is the sure one. This is the nail in the coffin for why the Brotherhood would eventually attack New Vegas. Securitron upgraded or not. Alright, here we go.
Alright.
So, here's the main thing. We can all agree here that Mr. House's calculations are almost always dead on.
No, because if he was correct, then he wouldn't be dead.
He would... Alright, that was
In all fairness, no one can predict the actions of Courier 6, a schizophrenic mailman suffering from brain trauma. Now, look, all I'm saying is the Courier is unpredictable because no one suspected a living corpse.
He was forced to by plot. That's the only reason why. If we're talking realistically, he would have just said, okay, now please go do this, and he would just talk through Securitron. Get the shit, like... I don't think he would have let you up there if it wasn't for like a little bit of plot, like the tiniest bit.
Well, he wants to impress you because you're his new number 2.
Oh yeah, no, fair point. We won't say that.
He wants to impress you. He wants to show you the Securitron
and make you show you
why he's.
I mean, look, Mr. House. Like, if he calculated everything down right to it, then he would know that if you decided to not give the platinum chip, that where he goes hostile to you, that. If you weren't gonna like save and undo and save and load or whatever, you kill him. That's the canon.
That was his only option. He was fucked. Like you just said, I'm not giving you back.
That's his only exactly. But he has another option. It's fine. You'll keep the platinum chip. I'll work some other way. But he doesn't know that he can't kill you because
it's so easy. Because what's better, 200 years of looking for this thing to just let it go, or kill the disgruntled mailman in front of you and continue without a human agent.
I see, Mr. House is smarter than that. He would know that it's not a disgruntled person, but he's not omnipotent.
Well, he's not. So obviously, he's not omnipotent. We're not saying that.
Listen, he did predict the Great War.
He did.
He did predict that Vegas would be a target. He did reform Vegas into what it is. And he may not have done the numbers on you, but he did do the numbers on the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yes.
And it shows that they're going to be a problem later down the line. Yes,
And
man.
I'm saying he
confirms
showed.
his
Wait, no,
story.
yes, man. Same thing.
If you talk to Yes Man about the Brotherhood, he says that Mr. House did some calculations, and they're different. If you say, I'm going to let the Brotherhood live, he says that's probably a bad idea.
And then you could say, well, I've dealt with the Brotherhood. So
And what did he say after that?
We can pull that up. We can look at it.
Yeah, but I know what he
Here's
says.
the one thing you guys are misunderstanding. The Courier, if you're going to be canon as fuck,
Yeah, but you're also saying,
has
but we're also
100
going with your, we're also going
Courier
with
has
your
100
independent.
speech. He's going to walk up to Elder McNamara and he's going to say,
Well,
I think the
that's
Brotherhood should
cheating.
reform into a bunch of
No.
teddy bear wielding tree huggers.
No.
And then McNamara would say, you know what? That's a good argument. That's 100 speech.
This is what I meant. The Courier cannot build a fucking satellite in Big MT, and that is breaking the
Yes,
fucking rules. You're
I know.
breaking the
I'm being.
rules.
I know. I'm being rhetorical. That's the extreme version. What I'm trying to say is, when you do the ending for McNamara, of which there are no ending slides, unfortunately, you are basically pushing the Brotherhood onto a better path.
All right, here's exactly what he says. All right, well, what do you know about the Brotherhood of Steel? If you ask Yes Man, he says this. They go around in big suits of power armor. They have lots of energy weapons, but there's a downside. They just have a thing about technology. They think they should all be theirs. If someone else has it, they get mad. All I'm saying is, not much of a chance to accept the Vegas and polices itself with robots. And later, if we go down more, here we go. If you say, I know the Brotherhood, I want them left alone. Then you could say, then Yes Man responds, okay, consider them forgotten. Along with the projections that predict they'll be our biggest enemy, forgotten. So it doesn't say that was Mr. House's projections. That was Yes Man's projection that the Brotherhood will be the biggest enemies of an independent Vegas.
They will be at some point, yeah. But the other, like, what we're saying is like the one thing that keeps them in check is if there's an NCR presence. So at that point, you get all the benefits of the Brotherhood. Well, not all of them. I mean, who the fuck does unless you're actually in the Brotherhood? But like, you get a lot of benefits from the Brotherhood with none of the, how do you say it, robbing or genocide.
All I'm saying is that Brotherhood go unga bunga for that toaster.
They need to die. Anyway, Mel, do you got any counter to that?
I'm looking at McNamara's dialogue after you finish his quest line, because I'm pretty sure the Brotherhood kind of opens up more, and I want to see what he specifically says about what they're going to do.
Yo, you
sure
are
know they
correct. I know what he says, not verbatim, but I know what he means. You can go and read it, but basically what he says is we're going to, like, you know, do X, Y, and Z. None of it's helpful. It's just helpful to them. And then he says we might even, like, retake Helios 1.
Yeah, exactly. But
if you really want to see what the Brotherhood become, then you don't look at the Brotherhood endings. You look at the Veronica endings.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree. Like I said, it just seems like they ran out of time and they didn't really flesh it out to the extent that they probably wanted to. You know, New Vegas is notorious for cut content. There's
Of
things
course,
that they
of
wanted.
course. Which is why we got to take what's there. So we shouldn't do speculation about what if and what end, even though that's all we're doing. But we should use what is there to get the evidence from. Not what we want, but what is there.
Well, I mean, that's just what it is. It's what isn't there. There's no ending for the Brotherhood.
I'll make you a deal, Mel. I'll agree with you since you say that they'll have like an upgraded Securitron. Well, here's the other thing. Actually, no, this is a good counterpoint for it. So, the only thing is now, if we're excluding the idea that you get the upgraded Securitron army, right? Let's just say you don't do that.
Why wouldn't you?
No. Trust me. I'm going somewhere with this. Let's just say you don't do that, right? Do you then agree that the Brotherhood would attack Vegas at some point?
That would they attack Vegas at some point?
Hypothetically.
All right, let me think. Because like their decision to attack Vegas, there's technology there, but they would have to decide that it's a good fight to take, and they would probably use Helios 1 on it, assuming you connected it to Archimedes.
Well, it's also, you have to understand that they want, like, they're not just, like, in the business of, like, you know, getting or stealing technology. They're in the business of destroying it. If they decide someone has something too powerful, they don't, like, that's their whole thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, because there is no ending. I'm trying to balance, like, would they still attack a greater force that they knew they
no.
would
That's
do?
where I'm getting with this. But do you agree that in the circumstance they do not have upgraded Securitrons, that they would attack?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, whether the Securitrons are upgraded or not, the Brotherhood, like you said, always wants to take the technology, and that's fine. That's their MO as, like, a faction. That's what they want to do. What I'm trying to say is, if there's Securitrons, I think it's very unlikely they would attack anybody because they would be too fearful of the Securitron army. They know how strong it is. It won the Battle of Hoover Dam against both the NCR and the Legion. They're afraid of that, even if they disagree with it. Now, if there is no upgraded Securitron army, now I'm trying to figure out, like,
That's
would
what I'm
they
saying,
still attack?
though, right? Because here's my thing. I don't think it's a matter of principle. They would do it. If they have the ability to, they will.
Yeah,
they definitely
but
will.
the thing is, they would need to fight everybody all at once.
It wouldn't matter. They tried it. They're very arrogant, and they will do it. And here's the
Well,
thing.
if you do the McNamara ending, they might not be so arrogant.
Well,
if you do the Hardin ending, they would be that arrogant.
Well, no, like, okay, well, look, Hardin takes over the Helios 1 regardless of McNamara intervention or not.
Of course, if Hardin takes over, they will attack.
But I'm saying, even if he doesn't take over the Brotherhood, he still takes over Helios 1. Helios 1 is still taken regardless. It says it in the ending somewhere, I think.
It does it? I
Here,
didn't see
check.
that.
Also, 1 second. So, my whole point is this. Alright? I'm not saying that the Brotherhood will be able to destroy or take over or annihilate Vegas. Mr. House's projections are either A, and Yes Man's are either A, based off the, like, the upgraded, or the normal, right? Now, if it's the normal, then RIP the Brotherhood, because that shit's depressing once you get them upgraded. But if he's going off the upgraded one, he's saying that they'll still attack. And although he says he can repel them and kill them, it's just something he'd rather deal with now. So while I'm not saying it would be a lasting threat, it would still get a lot of innocent people killed.
I don't think it would get innocent people killed because it would just be the Brotherhood attacking the Securitrons. But besides that, I think if the reason I brought up the speech thing is based on no other interference, I think House and Yes Man would be correct that the Brotherhood would attack again. But being introduced to the Courier automatically kind of tones down the militancy of the Brotherhood.
I can agree with you to an extent, but I do not think it is fair to bring speech checks into any part of this.
It's not a speech check. It's you have to think of it like, how do you get to the good independent Brotherhood ending? There's no slide for it. But the McNamara ending is, opening up to the outside, not shooting everybody on sight. Does a Brotherhood that acts and behaves like that, are they also going to attack Helios 1?
No, what I'm telling you is that they will. Like, what I'm trying to tell you is when Yes Man and House ran the projections, they're running it on an upgraded Securitron force, which means even if you get them upgraded, they're just going to attack anyway.
But no, it doesn't say that they'll attack. If you look at the slides,
I'm going
after
after Yes Man and House's for projections.
No, but like I'm saying, they're wrong because they don't understand that the Brotherhood could be tempered. If you talk to House, he probably doesn't believe that the NCR would ever team up with the Brotherhood. But that's exactly what happens.
We're gonna do a tie round because I just realized we've been talking about just the Brotherhood for about 25 fucking minutes. Actually, we already know what Mammoth's answer is, which is just to kill them. Correct, Mammoth?
Oh no! In a perfect world, they'd be left alone. But in the long term, they are a threat that must be dealt with.
Okay, so your House ending is obviously to stomp them the fuck out. Your independent ending, and then mine, we'll try to skip past the Brotherhood because I don't think we're gonna agree on that one too much. Mammoth, what are your points for House? What could you do to rebuttal a little bit on the NCR? Or
Wait, watch.
I'm very high. Go ahead.
I can talk about any subject, but you gotta tell me what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm trying to think how we can come to an impasse on this because...
Listen, alright. Brotherhood. Look, independent House NCR, at the end of the day, we're always going to struggle because New Vegas is a game where morality and perception of reality come together in a strange, confusing mess, a beautiful mess indeed, that allows players from every walks of life to see the same thing at different angles and make their own choices, allowing us here to say that we believed we made the right choice, and technically, through our thoughts of morality, we have made the right choice.